Our first indication of potential rotations. Badgers coach Greg Gard said earlier in the day that he hadn't really separated players into groups of where they might be in that regard, but he said that was coming, and apparently he meant in a couple hours. Of course, nothing's confirmed. We didn't get to speak with any of the coaches afterwards, so this is some speculation, some pretty obvious right in front of our face observations. But there were three groups that the players were split up into at Badgers practice, one in white jerseys, one in red jerseys, and another group in pennies. The expected starters, there's San Diego State transfer Nick Boyd, junior guard John Blackwell, Virginia transfer guard Andrew Rohde, Portland transfer forward Austin Rapp, junior 7-footer Nolan Winter. So this is the first time the expected starters group was playing together that we saw. Then in the red jerseys, there was a group that featured freshman guard Hayden Jones, redshirt sophomore guard Jack Janicki, freshman forward Alexis Bielauskas, sophomore forward Ricardo Greppi, and Tulsa transfer guard Braden Carrington. So again, this is a group of players that outside of maybe the freshmen, we kind of expected to be in the mix for depth, rotation, off the bench type roles. I think it's notable that Bielauskas and Greppi were part of this group, mainly because I think there's some question marks around who can back up Nolan Winter and guard fives. I definitely think those two are options. Bielauskas arrived late, obviously, and hasn't had as much practice time with the Badgers. And Greppi, of course, this is his sophomore season, but he's just been hurt. And, you know, he had another injury this preseason that limited him. He got injured last season during his first year with the Badgers. And then before then, he also had a similar situation where he arrived later in the summer. He just hasn't had as much practice time as some players that have had 2 years of experience have had. So I think that's hampered him a little bit, but definitely interesting to see him in that mix. And then there was a final group wearing pennies, and that was Temple transfer forward Elijah Gray, who has been dealing with a concussion throughout the practices that have been viewed by media previously, so he hasn't really been in the action as much, which I think has impacted him early on in this time with the Badgers. He also arrived late too. Senior guard Isaac Gard, freshman guard Zach Kinziger, and sophomore forward Jack Robison.